Amazingly insightful conversation there, and it really highlighted just how the art industry is being amplified and supported by the use of blockchain technology and tokenization. So with that in mind, that's given us a really good foundation for the next discussion that we'll be jumping into, and that's how blockchain can really help amplify the gaming structure, also the surge of interest that we've seen in the esports industry, and then of course entertainment as well. So if you guys would join me in giving a big round of applause for our next round of speakers that are going to dive into gaming, esports, and entertainment. Thank you guys. Welcome to the stage.
Hey. Oh, there we go.
Yes. Over to you.
How you guys doing out there?
Hello.
All right.
Should line up with.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. I know it's lunchtime. I know it's time to get some food, but we appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. My name is Shea, or I go by Stash, or Cryptostache here in the industry. I've been in crypto since 2013, doing content creation since 2017, and I was talking about NFTs and gaming from the very beginning, late 2017. Really saw the potential there, and at this exact event, trying to give away NFTs in early 2018 as well, talking about NFTs on stage, along giving me a good chance here, but. Excited to be on an amazing panel today with some great people here from a vast array of gaming from the industry, which is pretty nice. So here on my right we have Amy, we have Colin, we have Joab, we have David and PJ, and we're going to jump into this right away, guys, and have them introduce themselves just real quick, tell us a little bit about their company, and we're going to jump into the nitty-gritty of gaming and NFTs. And what's going on right now in that side of the industry. So why don't you start, Amy?
Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Wan. I am a securities attorney and CEO of Bling Financial. Bling Financial, we've been doing crypto gaming since 2019. We are at about 100,000 DAO, a million MAU. We actually just reached 20 million installs, and we're about to launch a new experience early next year that I'm super excited about.
Congrats on the install. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Colin Brady. I am the Chief Creative Officer and Chief Technology Officer of AMGI Studios in Burbank. We are primarily an animation studio. I've been directing animation for about 30 years, starting at Pixar and ILM. And along the way, we decided to form the studio and reinvent how animation is done, based on the Unreal Engine. So our studio has the Unreal Engine real-time rendering at its foundation. So about a year and a half ago, someone told us, you guys are really well suited to create an NFT collection. And we did. We created My Pet Hooligan NFT collection. And it was a big success. We just released Zuckbots as our second collection this last week. And we also have a real-time animation app for the iPhone called Immy. So we're primarily mixing an animation studio with a technology studio, and very quickly we're embracing this whole blockchain way of gaming. And our game called The Rabbit Hole will be out in a couple of months on the Unreal Marketplace.
Love those Zuckbots, man. They're fun.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joab Garza. I'm the founder of Gift Games and the creator of Tezotopia. It's the #1 game on the Tezos blockchain right now. We are going to be launching Tezotopia on a Web 2 platform, so I'm excited to speak about that on this, kind of like mixing the Web 2 and the Web 3. We'll be launching on the Samsung App Store and kind of gathering up user engagement and seeing how that works when mixing Web 2, Web 3 gamers.
Not easy, not an easy feat.
Hi, I'm David Kim. I'm the head of publishing for Tyranno Studios, which was formerly called Wax Studios. We are the developer of games as well as support products and services such as marketplaces and wallets for games. Today, in fact, we are launching the PvP version of our game Blockchain Brawlers, which was designed by Richard Garfield, who created Magic the Gathering. And my background is in traditional gaming. I've been a 20-plus year traditional game industry veteran, and also have worked at movie studios overseeing their games businesses.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Piergiacomo Palmisani. I go by PJ. I'm head of gaming at the Algorand Foundation. Algorand is a layer 1 blockchain, what we can say next generation blockchain, highly performing, very fast, 6,000 transactions per second. Our founder is the co-inventor of Zero Knowledge Proof, so protocol level stuff is very, very solid on our end, and as we enter and dabble more Web 2 verticals, aka including gaming, working with amazing builders, amazing gaming studios, and yeah, very excited for this conversation, which we started back then. Apologies if you could hear us, but yeah, very excited.
It's true. We did kind of we jumped ahead of ourselves a little bit, and we jumped in a couple of topics. Let's dive into talking a little bit about NFTs, the financial aspect that they bring to gaming in general. And so this has a couple of different prongs here that I want to kind of attack with. And the first one, being the fact that there are some financial aspects already in gaming, right? And how does blockchain and NFTs, how they help supplement that? And then when it comes to these things as vehicles for developers to create revenue for themselves too, how do we kind of navigate those types of things? In particular, with what we've been seeing right now in the NFT world, which has been a little bit of a hot topic recently. I'm sure you guys have all seen people talking about royalties within the NFT industry as well, and that being kind of a hot button issue. How do you see royalties also being a part of this new age model that we're bringing with blockchain technology as a basis for revenue streams that a developer would be bringing on board and that they would get it by incorporating blockchain technology like this? So why don't you start here with this, Amy?
I think I'm not a great person to ask about this topic because as a securities attorney, I am inherently...
You're the perfect person to talk about. Are you kidding? He's like, as an attorney, I don't want to say anything about this, guys. I'm getting into hot water.
I'm a little skeptical that, and to me, first of all, there's a very wide spectrum of NFTs out there. Some of them are legit collectibles that people covet. And then there are NFTs where it's like people are just shooting them out, and I don't know how it's not a security. And by the way, I will mention that royalty contracts are securities.
There we go.
So...
She said it. We've defined it now.
When the whole NFT craze was at its height, I was kind of like, well, how is this different from ICOs, except now we're just saying we're marketing it in the context of gaming, So I have very, very, how do I say this? Legalistic perspectives about this. I'll let you guys talk.
All right, go ahead, non-legal person, Colin.
Sure. So I'm the opposite of a legal person. I'm kind of the clown in the room right here, and because my background is animation, what I do know is that I'm approaching this from what Pixar would do, which was we were basically creating films for the same people that go to McDonald's, and I mean that in the best way. We are creating content for the masses. So while most people are approaching this from a very high price point, and it's a very niche market where, only people who are celebrities or have a high, risk factor tolerance are jumping in this business. We're going at it from the opposite end. We want the $5 NFTs. We want the Walmart NFTs. We want free NFTs. We want an NFT in every pocket. We want kids to be trading these on the playgrounds.
Yes.
And so this is exactly what we're embracing, especially with this new Zuckbot collection and our app that's coming out. In terms of royalties and utilities, once again, we're approaching this almost from a completely naive perspective. When we got into this, people would ask, well, what's the utility? And most people are just saying, what kind of money am I getting? What kind of return am I getting? We were naively saying, oh, utility, oh, we're going to have this as an actual 3D character that you can puppeteer with your face using an app called IMI. Oh, you can actually be your character in the game and act as this character as an avatar. Oh, you can actually earn points with this character. You can make your own wearables and sell your own wearables. You can open up shops in this thing. Like, we're just approaching it from like, what would downtown Disneyland
That's
do?
utility right there, man. That's some great utility in my opinion.
So
right?
Thank you.
Yeah,
so that's what we were thinking utility is. And then in terms of royalties, We have a 50-plus person studio, so we're squeezing every single drop out of these royalties, and every single dime is going right into the product. And then lastly, we're heavily embracing the Fortnite model, especially using the Unreal Engine, and wearables. It seems like if Fortnite is making $500 million a month selling wearables, we're definitely into that business as well. So most people will perceive our rabbit hole game like you would Roblox or Fortnite. It's a free-to-play game for most people. You don't have to know a thing about Web3. Under the hood, it will have Web3 benefits for people that do own the NFT, and then those people can buy and sell and actually earn with their characters.
Fortnite's selling more clothes than Gucci, man, every year. It's crazy. It's true. More digital clothes are being sold in Fortnite than.
Yeah. So that's the financial. Yeah. So that's the financial model that we're leaning on. Thanks.
Yeah, I can see that. So as you can see, like having a studio and having those royalties can be important as a driver for revenue model.
Yeah, we haven't really hit that snag with ours. Like our third-party NFTs haven't taken away the royalties yet, and we run our own marketplace as well. Our model's a little different as our NFTs themselves produce tokens that you use in the game. So they're producing the in-game currency that they're able to use within the ecosystem. So Tezzatopia being our flagship game, that's going to be the driver that keeps the economy of the other games going. So all the other tokens will be interchangeable within all the games. So yeah, royalties for us are really important. And then yeah, this where we're headed right now, and seeing like Magic Eden pulling that, and we have to rethink it and kind of see how would we survive as a company, say that goes away. And is it dependent on our tokens itself? Is it dependent on just NFTs? Or
third-party risk, man. That's what that is. When you think about it, you say, hey, this is part of our business model, is we're going to sell NFTs on this marketplace. Well, now you have some third-party risk, man. Now, as you can see, hey, you never knew. Something could change, and that could be a big thing.
Yeah, I think my perspective on this is slightly different because of the fact that I come from traditional gaming. So one of the things that I really believe in is that the first priority with NFTs and games should not be financial.
Yeah.
To me, when I look at blockchain and gaming, I'm sort of looking at what existing problems in gaming does blockchain solve. And it solves quite a few of them. The main one being that people want to buy and sell in-game items with each other.
They do, and they'll do it any method that they can.
Yeah,
like, you'll say it's against toss, and like, we're going to do it anyways, guys. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, it's been going on for 20-plus years, right?
It's online games.
Yeah,
I mean, since the first online game,
you think
literally.
about MMOs, right? And I've spoken to a lot of people who've created some of the largest MMOs, including RuneScape and EverQuest, and some of them have actually tried to do studies on how much economic activity is happening outside the game. And the ones that all have come to the conclusion that the economic activity outside their game was 1 to 3 times the size of the economic activity in their game. And this is stuff that people are doing that's high risk, right? Because you're basically meeting somebody in a digital alley where you promise to give them money in exchange for them promising to meet you in the game.
Happens. I'm like
the damn item.
The PayPal transaction went through, exactly. I swear. And like, it's in the trade window. I'm waiting. I'm like, come on, man. Get it over.
And this causes actually quite a few problems for game developers and publishers. First of all, you've got economic activity that's throwing off the balance of your in-game economy, which you have no insight into because it all happens on external, off-chain external servers that you have no insight into. Secondly, it causes a huge customer service problem because when somebody gets ripped off in one of these transactions, they expect the game company to solve it.
Yeah.
Which they can't.
Yeah, resources are being allocated towards it.
So this is like, ex-boss of mine was the head of publishing at Epic when they launched Fortnite. And I had lunch with him one day, and we were talking about this, and he said, do you know why there's no item trading in Fortnite? It's because they didn't want the CS calls that would happen when people got ripped off. So they said the easiest solution was you don't allow it. If somebody calls CS and complains about it, well, too bad, you're not supposed to do it. So, you took on the risk. But the beauty of blockchain is it solves both those problems, right? People can't get ripped off in the transaction. Yeah. And secondly, you have, as a developer, complete insight into all the economic activity because it's all on-chain, which then makes it easier for you to balance your game economy. So to me, when I think about NFTs and blockchain and gaming, those are the two things that I'm really focused on, right? It's solving the existing problems. And it's weird that gamers are so adamantly anti-NFT and blockchain.
It is. I don't get it.
When it's literally like, you guys are doing these activities that are super risky, and you clearly want to do them, yet the one thing that'll help make it easier for you,
it's a scam. It's all a scam. We're like, no, we're trying to help with the scam.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that too, because me being a lifelong gamer, when I saw this technology in 2017, it was the same spark that I got in 2013 when I first read Satoshi's white paper. I was like, this is going to be huge. NFTs are going to be massive for everything unique, and particular gaming, something that I really loved. And you're right, like it solves so many good existing problems. But that does bring it back to the financial aspect of it, right? You're saying, well, one of the benefits is that you can track this financial data that will be happening outside of your game and your servers, and then use that to more accurately balance your game and what's going on in your game, which is a great point. But it does bring back to the fact, like, finance is in our games already before blockchain was even there. So to say NFTs and crypto are bringing it in, and it's going to monetize games in a way that they're not, you made a great point. People are already doing this. The black market for gaming items out there is millions. I wouldn't be surprised.
Actually,
it's probably billions at this point.
It's into the tens of
black
billions.
market items, not the fairly traded stuff out there, but the black market things. Yeah.
It's gray market, not black market.
Yeah, the gray markets. Yes.
I guess a couple of points here, mainly on the economy side. First of all, NFTs should not be gatekeepers for gaming. Like, I've seen crypto games out there where you have to spend thousands of dollars to gain access to a game that is not even ready. Like, what? Games should be for everybody. Else, there's billions of gamers out there. If you're dropping a 10K collection, and that's is that your
Thank
goal?
You for the privilege.
Yeah, it's what? Second thing is we talk about in-game economy, right? All the early crypto games that we've seen kind of broke that, because they open, especially as you're issuing a token, and that token gets sold to early investors that most likely will not play your game. You have zero user base that you have to grow. So it's not that you're dropping a token on existing players. You have to bootstrap the user base. And guess what? You sold a good chunk of your token or your in-game economy to people that are not going to participate in that. You want the people you're addressing are the gamers, the players, right? Not early stage investors, not people that are just motivated by financial gains, right? And that's how, as an industry, as both also the gaming industry, but as the crypto industry, we have to come together and realize who are we building this for, right? And it's for the players. It's not for people that want to speculate. You can flip NFTs, still the 100% makes a lot of sense. But if we're gatekeeping and if we're ragging at the end of the day, then we are doing something wrong. But it's good. We go through iterations, we learn, we adjust, and it's a long way. Here's another thing with crypto gaming. It's a long way, because guess what? Games take a long time. It's not anything else in crypto can get shipped in months. Games take years and hundreds of people and hundreds of millions of dollars to make. So we have to be patient, and we have to figure out the best angle, because again, we can get burned. You go talk to game developers or players, they hate crypto. The majority of them, they just what is this? Because they see the spec. These people play for the fun, they play for the passion, they play for the social aspect. They don't play for the money, strictly for the money. That's not their main driver.
Right, and I would say just real quick, with that is that that's the majority of gamers. You're right, but there is a contingency out there that does love to do the real life trading and will min-max a game and go in and farm a bunch of gold, and that, we've been doing that since well before crypto was ever invented. So it's crazy to see that, how we have to cater, you're saying, well, we want to cater to just the gamers, but you do kind of have to cater to the other side too, and that's a little bit what blockchain, I think, is helping with.
Well, I think that's the big issue, right? In so many of these Web3 blockchain gaming panels, we talk about the technology and the NFTs and all of that is just the means, but it's not supposed to be the end, right? And I think that's what the last two speakers were talking about is, if you are truly in the gaming industry, the only thing you care about is the game and the entertainment value, and does this game explode? Is it viral? Are my friends playing it? Is it social? And oh, this game might happen to have capability for people to trade in-game assets, but that's but why are we even talking about like, oh, blockchain gaming as its own separate category, right? Like that doesn't even make sense. That's just like, oh, like I added a database to
Web3.
Yeah, like that's not exciting.
Let's make some new names up.
And that conversation, and I would actually argue, no, we shouldn't be catering our games to this speculative crowd, A, because that's what makes it a security, but second of all, because those people aren't even playing the game, right? And if we are truly developing this game to be entertaining and if we truly want blockchain technology, NFTs, all that stuff to take off, then you focus on the game. You don't necessarily focus on the trading activity and the speculation and driving the prices up.
Well, okay, so, and you're 100% right, and I agree. I think the main focus always needs to be on the fact that this is going to be a game that people actually want to play. And that's the hardest thing when you see anything in general. Like, so crypto aside, making a game that people want to play is hard. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been on Steam recently. There are thousands and thousands of games on there vying for people's a little bit of their attention. You know, crypto games as a category, you're right, it really shouldn't be a category per se, but just like NFTs will eventually go away as well. The word and term NFT will eventually not be something that we have. It'll just be like, oh, that collectible or that thing we got here. And it's the technology that runs it. And we're still at that early point where, you know, people haven't been able to get past that, gamers in particular, haven't been able to get past that hurdle. But I think that the technology should help us to have insight into those financial aspects, which were the pain points in the games already, and say, hey, okay, yeah, we know that people were doing these things in the gray markets, and we want to make sure that we can give them tools that will be effective and will be safe for them to use that can help with some of these pain points. Now, that shouldn't be the focus of the game, ever. It should always be, you know, focused on fun. And, you know, because how else are we going to get mass adoption, you know? And so turning to kind of that question of mass adoption, how do you guys feel the role of esports plays in getting more people to, you know, utilize this technology in the games that are at the forefront? Do you feel like esports has a big foothold or can be a big foothold for crypto gaming? As we've seen quite a few esports teams kind of warm up a little bit more to what's been going on in gaming. Joab, you want to take this one started? Yeah,
so we've partnered with Misfits Gaming, which is an esports group, and they've been pushing out a lot of esports tournaments for Tezotopia because we have a PvP, and it's really increased engagement. It's another motivator because now it's, you know, rewarding you for your skill set. The way the Tezotopia is structured, I mean, there's one portion where you can just passively play the game, but then there's one where you actively are on a chessboard moving your battle units and fighting. And so we've seen a lot of success with that, and we're going to continue to, you know, make more partnerships with esports groups, and it's good to see them dipping their toes. They kind of got a lot of backlash from traditional gamers, but I think a lot of that backlash comes from what you're talking about with gatekeeping NFTs. I think that model needs to go away, and it needs to be free to play, and you know, you can earn your NFTs on the way and all that. And so, yeah, no, I'm excited about esports getting more involved in it, and seeing some esports teams really show interest.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I think, you know, esports is really a promotional tool for the games that are actually being played as the esport. And I think the interesting thing where esports really connects well with what I'm going to call blockchain connected gaming. I don't want to call it crypto gaming because, quite frankly, crypto can actually, in terms of cryptocurrency, can actually be completely removed from the whole process, and still you'll have, you know, the ability for people to trade out.
Web3 gaming. That's what we call it now.
Yeah, or blockchain.
It's Web3 gaming.
So it's Web3 gaming because people apparently don't like the term blockchain, and so they picked Web3 instead.
Soon Web3 will become a naughty word.
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. I'm milking Web3 as much as we possibly get. It's the best term we've had so far, guys. We got to stick with something.
The interesting thing is when you look at what the most popular esports games are, the best games for esports, they also tend to be the best games for in-game item trading, right? I mean, Counter-Strike, which is the biggest esport game of all time, also had one of the biggest external markets for trading of in-game items.
Marketplace, yeah.
You know, and then you think about World of Warcraft, which was also a very popular esport, right? Fortnite, if they allowed people to trade their skins as NFTs, that market would be huge.
Millions of dollars.
But billions of dollars. tens of billions of dollars. I mean, you know, Counter-Strike alone at one point was doing, I think, like $20+ billion a year in secondary market sales. So that's where I think esports and Web3 gaming really kind of merge together, is the fact that the same games that are great for esports also tend to be really, really good for having Web3 components.
You're right, because the uniqueness that comes from some of these things, right? So you talk about a gun skin that was used in a championship match between the two top esports teams that are playing, you know what I'm saying? Like that is huge.
Yeah.
And so now you own that NFT. You had the exact one that top player had. It's just like getting like a signed jersey, right? You go to a game and you get your jersey signed. Like, man, this is a really sweet, unique item. You try to sell it on eBay or something, and you're going to charge more for it than if you didn't have that signed version that was maybe used in the game or was a game ball. So I mean, those things going digital, I think, are you're right. It lends itself very well to esports.
I think there's another thing that these esport organizations are like basically huge communities, right? And from these huge communities, few champions emerge, and these are like the big celebrities, the big YouTubers, and all of that. I don't know if you guys saw, but like, you know, Mr. Beast is like raising money as a company. Because it's his brand, he built a huge brand, and that could be another angle, and that actually overlaps also with royalty, so I guess that's also like some regulatory concern, I guess. But you know, celebrities like these, like they're literally like the reason they're there is because they have their community and like their fans that support them. So that could be another angle. Very preliminary, and I guess a lot of regulatory concern. On our end, as a layer one with a strong token and all of that, the way we tend to look at esports organizations and these type of things are like the community coming together, and like, you know, prize pools being you know, a big thing, and for them, you know, it gives more utility to a token that already has one and is already strong. Going back also to what I was saying, like, oh, games launching their own token. It's like, you don't even have a game. What type of utility you have?
We have a token.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess. Sometimes, like, you know, I usually suggest them, like, hey, why don't you use Algo, which is the Algorand token, or USDC Algo, and as Algorand Foundation, maybe we can help you. But, you know, before you think about tokenomics and all of that, also because, like, you're a game developer. Like, you're not an economist, you're not an investor. Like, why, like, now you're getting in a whole different ballpark, which is not your business. You don't know, like, it's not your expertise, and you might get burned, and that was something that should be like a fraction of your value is now becoming a whole catalyzer of like, and it's something that can disrupt for the worse what you're building, which is a game.
Right, and you're right. It's definitely putting blockchain gaming developers in a new box or new category of, hey, you really need to understand tokenomics like very well. Not just like, oh yeah, you can get by with it, and you know, I'm sure that this game will last the duration and nothing bad. But I mean, we see this happening all the time in traditional gaming, where economies, you know, go bust. You know, they have to deflate the currency inside the game or inflate it in some sort of way, and it just completely wrecks everything that's going on. And so it's a problem that's been in traditional gaming since forever, and that hasn't gone away. But now, when you talk about like, well, now this is really connected in a way that we're saying, yes, it's part of the thing now, versus what we've said before is like, this is not part of our thing. It's against the toss, you can't do it. But now we're saying it's okay, so we have to make sure that it's extra special okay for them, and not just like, okay, well, like it was like before. We don't know the long-term implications of this economy are going to be, but buy the token now before everyone else gets in.
Before anyone's playing the game.
Yeah. Or before Amy comes after you for security fraud.
Hey, I'm not an enforcement. I just look.
She's out there spying like, I saw you.
It's kind of an interesting thing with tokens, right? I mean, I've spoken to a lot of projects that are planning to do an ICO, and they're not doing an ICO anymore because you're not going to get away with it. We do something interesting with our tokens. Our tokens are our fungible tokens, not our NFTs, actually have a utility purpose. And what it is it's a way for people to buy and sell the in-game currency with each other, right? Now, you can't represent in-game currency as NFTs because it's too data intensive, which is where having a fungible token is valuable, because then people can buy and sell the in-game currency with each other. We do not do ICOs at Tyranno Studios. What we do is when we launch a game, we just release the tokens. And they're just in the marketplace. Which means people can use them, but there's no ICO involved, there's no financial component involved, there's no staking, voting rights, none of that stuff. It's just literally a fungible token that's main purpose is utility in trading, in being able to buy and sell the in-game currency with each other as players.
Yeah, I mean, tokenomics in a game like that are not an easy thing to figure out. Like, oh, how have you guys balanced this, Colin, with the kind of need to maybe have something in game to control it, but then how far do you take it into the blockchain side of things, right?
Yeah, sure. So our plan is to start with everything off-chain, to just enter the game with just an email address. The beauty of working with the Unreal Epic Marketplace is that that's exactly what you do, just in the same way you would just jump in and play Fortnite. I have a lot of little kids, and so I watch them play Roblox a lot as well, and they're like, having kids is a great marketing tool, market research, and I watch that even competes with them even wanting to watch something on Netflix. And so I see them just wanting to jump in and not even intentionally play a game, just to hang out. And then what do with their YouTube time? Thankfully, they're either sometimes doing educational videos, but they're watching other people play video games and Twitch streams and describe their games. So we're trying to embrace, kind of in an eSports way, because our characters are based with Disney-style faces, big eyes, big expressive eyes, squashy and stretchy faces. We're embracing kind of a model where the characters are celebrities, and they're in the corner of the screen as a Twitch character, but also as the playable. Their movements aren't just dances, but full ranges of emotional movements and actions like a Disney kind of character would have. And so we're hoping that we approach a model like American Ninja Warrior, where you're watching people compete, but you fall in love with their characters as celebrities. So we're really hoping that we create competitions, but the competitions should be every bit as entertaining as an American Ninja Warrior or some kind of celebrity obstacle course. And so that primarily will just get eyeballs and people in the game. Hopefully, after several months, the kid says to his mom, "Hey, Mom, it says I have a couple $100 of, I don't know, Starbucks coupons." And
just say Starbucks coupons.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden, only then would the parents or the kid realize, oh, now how do I get that out? Well, then you have to bring it on chain.
Mom, let's go get cappuccinos. Let's go.
Yeah, now let's get a wallet and let's or whatever, or free candy bars or something, whatever it is. But all of a sudden just jumping in for free, jumping in with really no barrier of entry at all, and then all of a sudden earning along the way. So that basically, while they're in the game, in our game, we're using carrots since it's rabbits and a rabbit hole game. They are trading with carrots as their currency, but it'll all be on our custodial wallet only when you want to take it off, and at your choice, then you could turn it into real tokens.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to esports, I think that that's an aspect that the celebrity aspect of things, I think, is a really big aspect of gaming in general. But when you talk about the kind of boost that esports could give gaming, I think that level of visibility is high. Because like you said, kids watching other people play these games, it's to us. It's the same thing when we're watching traditional sports, football, basketball, baseball. It has that same impact.
That's right.
And a lot of people still don't realize, like even now, people in this room still don't realize the reach and the influence that gaming has on the younger generation. And that can have a big impact when it comes like, oh, wow, I love this guy, his avatar over there. Yeah, you don't ever see him. You just see his rabbit avatar, but he's talking and he has the same facial expressions as the guy behind him. I could also have that NFT. I could own a version of that NFT, like a one that's signed by him or something, There's a lot of cool, esports angles there for, I think, helping to promote.
Yeah, and wearables, too. I mean, my kids, if they bug me enough, they can always get $5 out of me to go buy some kind of Robux or something like that, or Z-Bucks, to dress up their character. And I'll say, why do you want this? Oh, because it's cool. And so there's really something important. And going back to community, I watch our Discord community, which is everything. And all the different social media, flavors out there. Discord, at least our community that I've seen, and maybe in general, but it's so vibrant and so warm and encouraging. And so I look at it and I say, how do we create a snapshot of that community and bring it into our game? So in our world, we have a movie theater, we have a dance club, we have an open mic night, we have a store where you can buy and sell things. So much of what we're leaning into is the social experience of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also using blockchain technology and integrating it into esports. So we're putting together a tournament bracket where we'll put like $10,000 in the prize pool for the first prize winner or something like that. But it's all on a smart contract, and then we'll allow third-party people to create their own prize pools. The money's locked up. It's guaranteed it's going to be there. So it's not just like some, schmo just going like, hey, at the end of this tournament, sign up, whatever, there's gonna be 20K or whatever, but it's actually in there. So yeah.
That's actually a pretty good use case. Like we have like a couple of teams building on Algorand. Literally, like one of the reasons they started their project because they were, competitive players. Like they went to Japan and participated in a tournament and won and never got paid. And then you have to leave Japan and like, how the hell are you gonna get the money?
You're getting nothing. Yeah, you're getting nothing.
Yeah, so that's of course, smaller one, but like it's actually a very powerful one. Use case.
Yeah. You're the winner. But here it is. It's on chain. This guy won.
Yeah.
You're right. There's a lot of good.
And you get paid out automatically by the chain,
yeah.
which is.
Yeah, and we're already seeing that. So there's actually some good esport, like crypto-based esports companies out there that are doing those things, which are really cool. But I want to hear your opinion on this, Amy, and how this kind of relates back to mobile gaming, as it were with esports, because that's a pretty huge side of things too. You feel like the same strategies work in the mobile realm for adopting people into like mainstream, we'll say Web3 gaming.
I would say 100% not, and that is particularly because of the monopolies of a couple large companies, right? Apple and Google.
Right,
like
right.
if you want to launch
stores, you gotta play by jump through their hoops.
If you want to launch, if you want to launch a mobile game, you gotta sit there and read through their developer terms of service and scrutinize every little word. I can't remember. I think it's Apple that allows skills-based gaming, but Android that does not. Or it might be vice versa. I can't remember. But it's crazy. Like for our games, like we have 9 games on both Google Play and the iTunes Store, but one game on one platform is actually not actually the same game on another. We have to change it, and it is such a big headache, and we constantly have to fight with Google Play and Apple about different things. It makes the development work go up exponentially.
I bet, yeah.
And, just having to deal with these big giants and these big monopolies who get to dictate to you how your business is run, it's just, I have to say, it's absolutely infuriating.
And this is happening a lot in gaming. We've seen this where like games, you can be on Steam, you just can't have anything to do with NFTs or blockchain technology in that version. So we're seeing games splitting it so they get the promotional power of being on Steam, but then, if you play it through Steam, you can't use NFTs or crypto functions. You can download it directly from their website or another place, and then you can, which, I mean, they'll reverse their decision here eventually, but I mean, those same barriers, when we talk about, hey, just there's barriers in general to Web3 gaming, and then on top of that, you have these old bastions of control that they want their cut too, and they want to make sure that we all know that.
The advantage, at least on PC, is you can still distribute the client yourself. You can kind of do it on Android with sideloading, although it's such a complicated process that most mainstream gamers will not be able to figure out how to sideload. I mean, Apple is completely, you're at their mercy. There's nothing you can do about it. But I do want to bring up like one more use case that we haven't talked, or a couple more use cases we haven't talked about with regards to NFTs and gamings. One of them is using NFTs as a reward mechanism for playing, and I don't mean financial reward. I mean more in terms of an achievement system, right?
Yeah, which you already do.
Right. Yeah. Because right now, when you think about if you play a game, any achievements you get are locked to that platform. If you delete that platform account, that achievement goes away. Any record that you had achieved something in the game goes away. Secondly, if you play a game on same game on multiple platforms, like say Fortnite, you play on both mobile and a console, your progress on the 2 platforms are actually tracked separately in terms of achievements. What NFTs allow a game company to do is to reward people with a sort of commemorative NFT that sort of commemorates an achievement they made, and they can track progress across all platforms.
In like a uniform manner, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's a great use case that is really easy to implement because most of it is run off the back-end servers of the game companies, not the platforms themselves. You can do that and not violate any of the rules of any of the platforms, as long as you don't allow those NFTs to then further unlock utility in the game, which is a no-no as far as Apple is concerned.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are those unique challenges you have to, kind of navigate around right now.
Yeah, but then the other aspect of this, which is interesting, is because everything on a blockchain is visible, you can also use NFTs as a marketing and promotional tool to attract players of games that are similar to yours, right? So you can read wallets and see what NFTs
that's the worst.
they have.
That's the worst. That's the worst one. Everything.
Well,
if you guys know, he's like, oh, you guys don't know all the promotional NFTs you're getting to your wallet. They're all hidden on OpenSea right now.
But here's the thing: is, if you've got a game that can read an NFT that's in somebody's wallet when they log into the game, you can reach out to you can target somebody who you think is interested in your game by what NFTs are they holding. You can give them an NFT that unlocks something in the game for them, and then hopefully that will entice them to try the game. The other thing is, when we talk about streamers, right? Streamers, it's really challenging for them. They can give away full copies of games, and you give away a Steam key, right? It's really hard to give away something, that's an in-game item via codes. It's a really, really awkward process. If you can let them just drop NFTs that can then be used in a game to unlock something, an item, again, just simplifies the whole process. And I think that's the point of blockchain in games, is to simplify certain processes, which are really complicated right now.
Well, I mean, that's actually one of the things I love about Wax as a blockchain, is that they make it really easy to drop codes into like a YouTube chat for people to just go quickly download an NFT just by clicking the link, boom. But I mean, you're right, the hurdles for blockchain technology here, to be adopted are still many. We still have quite a few here when it comes to every industry, but I think in gaming we're starting to knock the doors down here. As we're just kind of wrapping up here, guys, why don't you guys just give me your quick vision of what you see here in the next 2 to 5 years when it comes to NFTs and how they're invading mainstream gaming? Maybe you want to start with this real quick, Amy?
There's going to be at least one, one game that goes huge and it becomes hugely popular, and it just so happens to have these features, but no one's really talking about the technology. They just think it's super cool.
That's coming for sure, 100%.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think it's going to be something where you're not using the word NFT. I think Web3, we got to come up with a new word, somebody quick.
We just keep changing them every 6 months to a year. It's good. They'll never figure us out.
Even calling it a game is kind of interesting, because I think this is going to kind of inhabit where Facebook is dropping off, where Netflix is dropping off. I think this is going to fill a void. So I think there's like this. It's a new space.
Experience.
It's an experiential social experience space, and I think these characters are going to be kind of like your Gmail account that's going to stay with you for a long time. Going to represent you. We're trying to lean into kind of a Tamagotchi kind of model, where these things collect rewards, but they have a personality, and have a personality that all these things are kind of embodied in, with a fun little character that's kind of like your buddy.
Digital identity is big.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's coming.
I think you tweeted recently something about let's put out a Web 2 game and then rug pull them with a Web 3 game. I think that's going to be...
that's how you got to do it, man. I mean, that's it right there. That's the plan, guys. If you didn't know, I mean...
I think that's going to be the trend, instead of like how we started with gatekeeping NFTs and 10,000 NFT whatever. You're limiting yourself to 10,000 players. I think it's going to be a little bit of that combination of, you start off with a Web 2 game, you're earning NFTs, and it's kind of just on the peripheral. It's not really the main focus.
You're earning skins, or you're earning a brand new cape, or boots, or sweet-ass helmet.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to go one bolder than everybody else. So I think within 5 years, most, if not all, games will have some sort of blockchain-connected element.
Boom.
What you're seeing right now, even like the whole thing, having been in the games industry for 20 years, I see a lot of parallels right now with blockchain and games, as we saw with free-to-play and microtransaction when they first started. There was huge resistance from the player community, right? I mean, horse armor.
100%, man.
Horse armor, right?
It was the same exact thing.
Yeah, now you look at it now, and practically every game has some form of microtransaction
no one cares.
in it.
It's not a big deal anymore.
And it's accepted.
It's not a big deal
and
anymore.
it took about 5 years to get there. I think it's going to be the same thing 5 years from now. Almost every game will have some blockchain-connected component to it. There's going to be this huge game that is connected to blockchain, but that's because literally when almost all the games are connected to blockchain, chances are you will have a huge game that is connected to blockchain.
One of them will be a winner, yeah.
One of them's going to win. Exactly.
I mean,
finish off first.
I have nothing else to add. I mean, I agree with all of you guys. Like, that's the way, I guess.
Go bigger. Just go bigger than that. Come on.
So we capture all the people on Earth that are gonna play Web3 games. I guess that's where we're gonna get. Again, big publishers coming in. It's a lot that goes through education. We have to educate these people. We have to bridge that gap as like people in the industry. Definitely super important. So it's up to us, honestly, but like, let's be honest with each other. Let's focus on like the users, the players, the experience, and let's make it happen. I guess that's the best way we can do.
There we go. We're here for you guys. We're here for the players, the users, for the experience, to have fun, enrich our lives a little bit with NFTs in gaming. Thank you guys so much for being here with me, and please give a big round of applause for my panel here. Amazing audience. Thank you guys.